2015, somewhere around that, I think it was. Oh no. Ow, 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 ow. Hello survivors, welcome back to GTA Vice City. We're kind of continuing on what we left off doing, which is treasure hunting, or collectible hunting, whatever you want to call it, in Vice City. So we're after all 100 hidden packages around the map. Now these are, if you've watched the last two, these are kind of essentially just like little tiki statues, that are dotted around Vice City. They are just sporadically placed through the map, and I do have a guide open. So your drain pipe ain't doing good. I do have a guide open. I do have a guide open to allow me to find these a little bit faster. Because if not, it would take me forever to comb through the map. Also, floating things. I gave this game way too much praise when it first released. No, don't get me wrong. I mean, in a good way. I love these games. I love the classics. The GTA Vice City, GTA 3, and San Andreas. I love the classics. They're phenomenal titles, and in all honesty, even in my opinion, I'm a big fan of remastering games. The games did not get the love they deserved. I'm gonna be honest with you, they did not. They just didn't. And I know everybody's given, you know, grocery games a lot of flack for it, and honestly, rightfully so. I am actually a little off. Because they're the ones who, you know, if you can't see my air quotes, but remastered the titles. And they weren't really remastered. They were just kind of, and part of my French here, if you're younger, but they were half-assed, like, remasters of the games, for lack of an easy way to put it. They were just kind of half-assed. And look, I get it. You're not as big as studios like Rockstar or EA or any of those developers, but you got these three iconic classic Grand Theft Auto games, and oh, I see it. It's back there. I didn't want that, but that works. You know, but they weren't done right, and they didn't do justice to the original titles. And I don't know. I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. I pre-ordered these titles. Let's go over here. I think I didn't get this one because I saw the games, and I was like, awesome, the classic, a nice updated modern look, refreshed graphics, everything like that. And then they came out, and I was like, what is this? I actually, I thought about refunding them on my Xbox, actually, is where I originally purchased the games. And I thought about refunding them, but I'm like, I'm going to give them some time to cook. And I'm glad to say, that's a little buggy. That's not supposed to be like that. And I'm glad to say I did, because at the end of the day, hanging off in space, people, it's always fun. I'm glad I did, because it fixed a lot of the issues I had with the games when they first released. Now, one of my biggest complaints, and this was like one of, I think, pretty much everybody's complaint about the game, was the rain. Oh my god. Like, the rain, for me, made the games, all the games, San Andreas, GTA 3, all of them, pretty much, for me, unplayable. And not because they were, I mean, mainly just because it was just terrible. Like, I couldn't, like, I almost felt like I was getting motion sick, which I never do playing games. But playing the games with the rain going, because of it. Oh, free sniper. I'll take that. I actually do need that anyways. Because of the rain. And I felt, I was kind of saddened by it, because I'm like, you know, these are obviously great games, but they just weren't given the love that they deserved out of Rose Street Games. And I'm not, and let me say that, I'm not here to bash a studio for trying. I'm not here to throw anybody under the bus. But it wasn't, for the amount that I paid for the games, it wasn't the cost for me at that point when I looked at it again. It wasn't justified. And even a couple of my coworkers, they were saying, you know, you shouldn't have pre-ordered it, wait a little while. But I was just overexcited about these titles because I had played all of the originals, actually. A few of them when I wasn't really supposed to. Minor details. But I had played all of them back when I was a kid. I don't know if there's anything in here. But, you know, it's just, I was sad to see that the titles were not given love. I think this actually might be one we already did. Come back to it. Number 73. But, you know, and I get it. I wish the games had been given a little bit more time in the oven, per se, to allow the games to be what they should have been upon release, because especially the defendant, especially these kind of caliber of games, it should not have been put out in the state they were in. And I think that honestly, the backlash from, you know, GTA fans worldwide, you know, whether you're from the US like myself, whether you're from, you know, the UK, Mexico, Spain, Italy, wherever you're from, and you're a GTA fan, you saw these games come out and you were excited as I was, and then they came out and they were, you know, these just kind of crappy remasters of classic beloved Rockstar titles. And I think, again, I just don't think they were given their due justice. Or the... Look, the one thing I'm going to say, I am not against AI. Or anything like that. I'm not against it, but using AI and being just generally lazy is another thing. So I guess that's kind of my, almost like my little kind of mini rant, I guess, about these titles. So, you know, take that with you. I'm not a professional game reviewer or a, you know, professional in any category, whether it's content creation, whether it's reviewing games, whether it's even playing games. Honestly, I'm terrible at some games, as you guys have been able to tell. And you know, I'm just ranting a little bit, and take that for what you will. I think it's up there. But I wish, you know, the one thing I remember so much about the old games was writing down on a piece of paper the cheat codes for, like, oh, I see it. How do I get that? So we can't climb ladders. For San Andreas, and just, you know, having him right there, ready to go. How on earth do I get that? Oh, duh. Right there, you moron. There's a catwalk right there. There we go. Perfecto. So, you know, again, that's just my mini rant, I guess, would be the way to put it on these classic titles from Rockstar. Now, Rockstar, in their defense, has gone in and issued some major patches for these games and gone back through and polished them up. And I give them credit for that. You know, they took what grocery games to get them in. Look, I'm gonna say this. Removing grocery games out of... probably in here. Removing them out of the... yeah, there's... out of the loading screen and then just taking them off. I do and I don't. I do and I don't agree with it. Now, let me explain. I say I do and I don't because they worked on the titles. And but yeah, they are still credited in the game, but they worked on the titles, but they were lazy and again didn't give the games their due diligence, and I think it was right of what Rockstar did. Now, am I on board with 100% of the decisions? Absolutely not. I honestly think that after the games were after they were done, I think they should have been really QA tested much more heavily than they probably were if they were QA tested at all. Because some of the things just didn't seem like they tested anything. And it showed really on the day of the launch. 50,000. I don't have the money for that. But again, I don't know. Again, I'm just kind of ranting a little because, again, for a lot of fans who these games are just classics for, they were just not happy, and that includes myself, for the remasters.
Where's the bar around here?
So, I think... I don't know. Alright, look, I'm gonna be quiet on it now, but I'm going to make a list really quick, actually live, of games I'd personally like to see remastered, full remaster, you know, like updated graphics, maybe new control schemes, or just something new in general. So, the first game on my list for a kind of just remaster, I would have to say, would be... I'm gonna say probably Black Ops 2. Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is one of my top tier games that I would love to see remastered into the HD era. Now, for reason... So, I'll give you 3 games and I'll give you my reasoning. There we go. While I'm doing this. Now, so, for Black Ops 2, number 1, nostalgia. Now, that game does hold some memories for me. Some good and some bad. I will say, I see that other one already. But, you know... But it's a classic Call of Duty game, and I think even after, I think it came out in what, 2000, I think like 13, somewhere around that, I think it was. Oh no. Ow, Tommy's burning quite a bit. There we go. I think it could do with a remaster to bring back and maybe No, keep the classic modes. Keep everything pretty much as the game was back in the release. I think it was 2013. I'll put the release year up on the screen really quick if I find it. If I'm wrong, if not, then it won't be anything. But yeah, like I said, it's just more of a classic. Second game on my list, the remastered. I would honestly have to say, and now this is going to be one that I think might have a kind of a, yes and no for me, or like a could be, it could be not, but is probably going to have to be, honestly, a Club Penguin remaster. Now, for Club Penguin, I've been going back and forth on this one. Now, Club Penguin for me, I used to play that pretty much on the family PC, pretty much every day, or close to every day, after school, on weekends, because it was one of those games that you could just play for a few hours and not really think, because it was just literally a penguin game. For like an easy way to put it. And I was kind of sad. I had an account that I had played for so long on. What did I just drive into? Used a detonator. Anyways, I had a cat penguin that I probably had good, I don't know, few days worth in, at least, like in terms of playtime. And when they said that they were shutting down the servers, I was honestly a little sad, because it's a childhood game, and I think it could have gotten more life out of it. If it had stayed up. But I ultimately understand why they decided to shutter it. And I think the last game I'd have to say that I would love to see kind of like a whole remaster on would have to be, now this one might stir up a little bit of controversy because it is technically still live, is actually Wizard 101. Now, I understand, yes, the servers are still live, and I'll be perfectly honest with you guys, I actually do still play it a handful of times. I've got a character I've actually kind of put some money into a little bit, and now, I will say this, I don't play it every day. I'm not on it for 6-7 hours a day playing, because let's face it, number one, I genuinely don't have time to spend 6-7 hours on a game of that nature anymore. But
Think about it, dickhead.
I've always wanted to complete at least the main, like the minimum of the main quest, which was the original Arc one, which was defeating Malastare. Now, I never got to do that because I never had enough time, or I never actually had the premium subscription like I do now, because I can actually just pay for it myself, to get up to that point in the game. I think I'd always get up to, I think it was like Triton Avenue, I think it, like, as it cut you off. I don't remember. I'd have to go back and look. That, I would get up to, and then I would just be like, and then I'd be like, okay, and I couldn't go any further. So I think that could do with like a nice just overhaul of everything. And I get it, the game is still alive. It's actually alive and got a very good community behind it. A very passionate people. And like I said, I don't mind playing it every so often, but I don't have the time. Like, I'll probably play it a little after I finish recording this. Uh-oh. But, you know, it's one of those games that just brings back memories. When you look at, like, I watched one of the old commercials the other day. I need a car here. And it really made me just kind of, like, reminisce a little about my childhood, which was nice to have, because not a lot of games, not a lot of things will be able to do that. And I think that's the most important thing. I think this may be one we've already gotten. I could be wrong. Whoa, that lettering though. But, you know, I don't know. But, in any case, that will actually kind of sum up that list, but that will also do it for this episode. As always, if you like what you're seeing, feel free to check out the random recommended video for you that should be on screen right about now. And as always, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, I will see you in the next video.